Good morning, friends. I just wanted to make a quick video, hopefully it's quick, and go over a few things with you of what not to do with a rad child. It seems like parents are always explaining some of these things to other people, and it's so hard for people to understand. But these things are very important for that child's health and their growth and their healing. So you're just going to have to trust that those parents are doing those things for that child's healing because they love them. So let's get right into it. First of all, no hugging. That sounds very mean, especially if you're a Christian and a Bible believer. This is what we're taught, that love casts out all fear, and that love can heal all wounds. And that's true, but that needs to come from the parents, because these children learned in an early age, before they could even remember, not to trust the parents. So a lot of these kids will seek out love and affection from strangers. So that needs to come from the parents. Please do not hug the rad child. Do not feel the need to speak to the child just because they're standing there. If you run into them at the grocery store or at a school function or at church or anywhere, just because that child is standing there and they may very well have a poor me look on their face or very down, don't feel the need to ask the child, how are you? How are you doing today? How's school? Or whatever. You don't feel the need to do that just because they're standing there. If you have any questions, how is little Johnny doing? Ask the parent. This is actually going to help that child. You're helping the parent teach that child, my parent is above me. They are in charge. Because this person is asking my parent how I'm doing. I am not an equal. I am not a peer to my parent. If you do have questions, ask the parent, how's little Johnny doing? Even if little Johnny's standing right there. It puts the parent above that child and authority. Do not feel the need to give excess attention just because you know they have a mental disorder. Now, this comes naturally to us. We want to give extra love, extra attention to a child that we know is suffering with a mental disorder, especially a mental disorder that involves lack of love. They got there because of a lack of love. We want to pour all of our love into that child, and that cannot come from strangers. That has to come from the parents first. Just like a baby or a toddler, love and affection needed to come from mama first, then outside people. That's bonding. They did not bond with mama, so they are trying to teach that child bonding now. Even though they're older, they are trying to bond with them now. So outside love and affection it needs to come later, after that child has bonded with the parent. So do not feel the need to be overly affectionate, lovey-gushy, huggy, squishy, whatever you want to call it. Those are all great things, and yes, they do need those things, but they need to have that from their parents. Don't feel like you're being mean. The parents will be very appreciative if you are not being overly affectionate with their child just because they have a mental disorder. At least this disorder. Do not discuss the life, health, etc. in front of the child. They will target you. Kind of just talked about that a little bit, but I'd like to go into it a little bit deeper. Not only if you don't discuss or address the child just because they're standing there, and you address the parent, not only is that teaching the child, my parent is an authority, I am not a peer, this person's not asking me, they're asking my parent about me. It is better for you to ask privately away from the child, and the reason being is because these children do not have empathy, do not have feelings like we do, and to them it's all about them. So every time they see you in the grocery store, at church, at school, wherever it is, and you're asking about them, that is enforcing in their mind it's all about me. And when you are away from me, all you're thinking about is my well-being and how I'm doing. And that gets stuck in their head, and it's just reinforcing that thought that it's all about them. So if you can save those questions for when that child is not there, when you're alone with the parent, that is much better. Do not mistake tears for inner feelings. When my daughter's grandmother passed away and we told her, she laughed. She didn't know what emotion, feeling to show. She didn't feel it. She knew that she had to have a response, but she didn't know which one. She did change her response after probably seeing the expressions on our face and switched it to crying. It was not genuine, you could tell very clearly, and threw herself on me to hide her face. These kids will often stare at other people and watch it, usually when they're younger, and they're learning, how am I supposed to respond in that situation? How am I supposed to react? Because they don't feel it. So they're watching other people to learn how to act it out. Occasionally you will see crying and it's real, and that's if it involves something that's hurtful to them. They didn't get their way, their feelings got hurt, or if it's something involving them, you may be seeing real tears. But if it involves someone else, the pain or joy of someone else, and you are seeing tears, it's likely not real. So don't fall for tears, no matter how real they look or feel. Do not mistake age for mental or emotional age. Most of these kids are emotionally much, much younger than their physical age. If you are watching a rad family and judging, whether it be out loud or just in your own mind, judging how the parents are doing things, they are parenting that child not only with a parenting plan given to them by their therapist, but also they are taking into account the emotional age of that child and what that child can handle. And a lot of times it's not as much as other children their same age. If you want a clue as to what's really happening in a rad child's mind when you are in one of these situations, let's say you see them at the grocery store or at church or wherever that might be, and everything's fine, you make a mistake and you do one of these things, you may notice that child's pupils are huge. The pupils are going to tell you what the state of mind is in the child. If their pupils are really, really big, that tells you their brain has switched to fight or flight. Now their words and their actions may seem very calm, very normal, maybe even in a pleasant mood. That does not mean anything. They have mastered the skill of pretending to fit in. You need to pay attention to the pupils. If nothing else, that will be a clue for you that they are overstimulated and overwhelmed. Whether they're showing that or not, their pupils will tell you if they're overstimulated or overwhelmed. Let all good things come from the parents. What that might look like is compliments, hugs, gifts, treats, advice, encouraging words, affection, and comfort. All of us would automatically jump into complimenting someone or giving them comfort if they seem upset or anything. These things need to come from the parents, not outside people. Like I had said before, these children have learned not to trust mom, but they have learned to seek attention and affection from strangers. And there's no bond there. They're safe. They don't want to get comfort from someone that they're bonding with or have a bond with. They will try to avoid that bond because it's fearful for them. Last time they trusted someone, that person hurt them. So they don't want to trust someone else. And that's so deep in them because it happened so early in life. They can't explain it. It probably happened before that they could even speak, so they can't put words to it. It's just so deep in them. But they need to have that comfort, those treats, those gifts, the love, the affection, advice. All of those things need to come from their parents. If you think of yourself in that situation, no one can make you feel better than your mom when you're upset. There's no one like mom in the whole world. They need to have that chance to feel that. So if they're getting love and affection and comfort from you, they're never going to learn, if I go to my mom, there's no one like mom, and have that chance to bond and learn what it feels like. No matter how much you want to be a kind and loving person, because we are supposed to be kind and loving, and that's good. But with these children, please give them the opportunity to have that bond with a mom, just like we had, and get that love and affection and gifts and advice and comfort and all of those good things. Let those come from the parents so they have a good chance of bonding. Do not give them the opportunity or tell them that if they ever need to talk to someone that they can come to you. They will jump all over that. They will take advantage of that for sure. Their objective is do anything possible to keep from that bond. They don't want that authority over them of mama's in charge, dad is in charge. They will triangulate adults to keep that from happening because they want to stay in charge. They want to be the one in control. They don't want someone else in control. That's scary. You are offering a kind listening ear. That is very, very thoughtful of you. But with these kids, you can't do that. They need to have that comfort, that listening ear, that all of those things need to be from the parents. Please do not give them sympathy looks or reassuring looks. They have triggers in them, just like we do. Maybe we don't notice it, but if something traumatic happened to you at some point in your life, you may... I'll have an example. I always have an example, as you know. When I drive only on the freeway, I can drive back roads anywhere. If I get on the freeway, I will have a panic attack. I don't know why. But something obviously happened in my past that getting on the freeway going north triggers that in me. When you give reassuring looks, comforting looks, sympathy looks from across the room, or even just standing there talking to the parent and you look over and give them that look, that triggers in them victim. I need to be a victim because you just gave me sympathy and you are willing to rescue me from my mom, who's my perpetrator, who's mistreating me, who's being unfair to me. Help. Oftentimes you may go on your way, but the parent is going home with that child, and that child may have outburst for days over that. We had a school meeting one time, and the school psychologist who knew my daughter had RAD, knew it was severe. I had even told her multiple times, please do not compliment her or give her too much praise. She herself will tell you, causes angry feelings in her. It makes her want to, in her words, she would say, I just want to scream. This school psychologist, knowing that, still working with other children, it just comes natural to you to encourage, you know, especially if you're in a school system, you just naturally want to encourage these kids. And that's what she was doing during the school meeting, and another person in the meeting as well. And it was excessive. And finally, I had to say, please stop. My daughter did thank me because she said she was ready to just start screaming. She could not handle it inside. And you might not see it, but these are things that these kids struggle with. And she struggled for about a week after that. It was about a week that she was really acting out and really struggling with it because of all the praise. So please do not give sympathetic looks. Do not give assuring or reassuring looks to these children. They don't need that from you. We know that you're not doing it maliciously. As parents know that you just have a kind heart, and we appreciate that so much. But please help us by not doing these things. It makes it hard for the child, and we are trying to help them heal. And when these things happen, it sets up roadblocks for them. And it doesn't seem like that it should, especially just looking at them. They may seem very normal, and a lot of their behaviors may seem very normal, but they're really struggling inside, and the parents are trying to help heal them. Please don't stand in the way. I hope that these things are helpful to you. I hope they help you understand a little better, and I hope you remember them next time you run into that family at the grocery store or at a church function. If you want to talk about any of these things, please talk to the parent separately. They are usually more than happy to explain anything to you, and very appreciative that you even asked. So you guys have a great day, and I will talk to you in the next video. Bye-bye.